The Rebels boasted an offense that averaged nearly 80 points per game behind sharpshooter Marshall Henderson. Known as much for his antics as his game, Henderson was the nation's third most prolific three-point shooter during the season.
The only real game plan for Ole Miss was Marshall Henderson. G said he could be the reason they win, but he could also be the reason they lose.
We really was focused on the big man. We knew Marshall Henderson was going to take his crazy shots, going to take how many shots he's going to take.
He said, if we don't let him get off, then our chances of winning go up by probably like 90%.
You know, everybody kind of made a big deal about, you know, Ramon, how you going to stop Marshall Henderson? How you going to stop Marshall Henderson? Listen, when a player is going to take his shots, he's going to take his shots. The thing is making every shot contested.
The game lived up to its high-flying expectations, with LaSalle maintaining a 40-38 edge at the break. The second half was nip and tuck, producing a 74-74 deadlock in the waning seconds as the Explorers claimed possession. Coach Giannini called timeout to draw up one final play.
When we called the timeout, I was out of the game. I missed 2 foul shots before that, and I was upset with myself. Coach Bailey told me, when you get in, you're going to make a good play, don't worry about it.
G had called the timeout. He told me just make sure we get the last shot. He wanted the shot with under, I think, 5 seconds left.
So we definitely wanted the last shot, number one. Number two, we wanted to start with the ball in Tyreek's hands and have him make a decision because he's a great decision maker. Number three, we went with the 5 guards and spread the floor out. I just felt confident doing that.
I subbed Jarrell, so we had 5 guards in, and Coach just said just get the best shot as possible because with 5 of y'all, I know one of y'all would get the right shot.
Someone was going to be really open, or there were going to be some big gaps.
During the game, I think they blocked my shot about 4 or 5 times.
But earlier in the game, Ty came over to me and asked me, was the floater open? And I told him, yeah, because they had a one big that he's trying to block everything.
So when we got out there, the time was running down, and I knew if I wanted to drive, I didn't want to drive from the left side, so I made eye contact with Ramon.
And that's why, as you see, if you watch the film of the last play, Ramon starts off on the left side, and then him and Tyrone actually end up switching.
Ty felt like, you know, he had a better angle dribbling from the left side going to the middle. So he told me to switch. And when he told me to switch, I had no second guessing, not being selfish, not wanting the last shot. You know, I switched with him.
We just put the ball in Tyreek's hands, and he came to my side, and it just went from there.
And I told him I was going to drive and just dish it to him. I told him just catch it and drive right to the middle of the lane.
Tyrone Garland may be one of the best players I've ever coached at just seeing spaces on the floor and where he can cut to the basket. 2
defenders didn't call that switch, and Ty got right to the cup.
We got him the ball.
But when I shot it and it was sitting on the rim, I was just praying that it rolled in.
And he just split it and made the famous Southwest Philly floater.
Now 5. Here's Garland. Banks it. Yes! For the lead with 2. The Explorers of LaSalle have defeated the Rebels of Ole Miss.
My cousin always told me when the defender's blocking a shot, he just always said he used that Southwest floater. So after the game, Craig Sager asked me what you call that shot, and I ain't had no other name, so I just said Southwest floater.
That shot you just made.
That's the Southwest Philly floater, man. Shout out to my cousin Bern. Shout out to my mom, BOA, all y'all, man. We out here, Southwest.
The Southwest Philly floater. That's the difference in the game, 76-74.
Garland's Southwest Philly floater propelled the Explorers into the Sweet 16. Meanwhile, the legend of the floater spread like wildfire in the playgrounds of Garland's youth.
This is where the Southwest Philly floater was born, right here at the Myers Rec Center. Tyrone Garland, starting at the age of 5, practiced this shot hundreds of times here.
And all this floater is a little guy shot, man. I had fun with him when he was younger with it and told him that every good guard from Southwest Philly had one.
I mean, Tyrone always in practice always makes these big plays, so I had like no doubt in mind that he's gonna do something spectacular.
After that shot right there, that was one of the best shots that I've seen in my career so far. Under pressure,
He actually called it a Southwest Philly floater, but I thought it was more of a layup, but you know what I'm saying? That's his call.
Man, I joke around with Ty every time. I said, Ty, you know that wasn't no floater.
Oh yeah, we always joke about that. Like, man, it wasn't a floater, it was a layup. Even when we go work out, people say, man, why you call it a floater? You know it was a layup.
Yeah, tell me something, it wasn't a floater, it was a layup. But hey, I had to float it over me somehow to get it into the basket.
To this day, you still got people coming up. Like, I be walking with them and somebody come up like, you the guy, the Southwest Philly floater?
I mean, at the end of the day, whatever it was, it worked. So, like, he did float it over a big man, so I guess it could. It's like in between, it's like a 50-50. It's a layup/floater. But we always joke about that, man. I think, like I said, I think that's going to go down as one of the most memorable moments in the Salle history.